Live, I think. Only 20 minutes past the time that we're supposed to begin.
It's been an
Ooh,
interesting morning. Oh, I see you. You're
wow.
live. There we go.
Awesome.
I'm going to share us because I don't know if it's there or not. So I will. Maybe it's there twice. Who knows?
Yeah. Wow. I
We,
don't know what's going
I think
on,
I just lost
but
10 pounds in sweat.
truth is, we were definitely being tested this morning. So here we are. Welcome back to this month's episode of The Connection with myself, Michelle Irene, an international bestselling author, as well as an intuitive spiritual healer, leader, and oracle card creator, and my beautiful co-host, Jennifer Kupcho. Welcome, everybody.
We need all the energy that we can get this morning. We have been tested, but we are succeeding.
We have been tested.
Anyone else out there been tested recently? Yeah. We've been tested since about 11 o'clock, and it's now what? Well,
All right.
a lot more than that, but yes. So we're in the right place. We're in the right place with the right people to hear us.
Yeah, we have some laughing faces. I hope you're laughing with us, not at us.
I'll take either one because the energy is high vibe, and I'll get on that disc with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So somebody is saying good morning, ladies. Again, because we are in two different places. One is a public page, one is a private page. If you're going to comment, just put your first name so we can address you, other than Facebook user. And we like to know who we're speaking to because that's what the connection is about.
Definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Wow. I need a second here to just kind of,
I was going to say, I think
it's
I need
Jamie. Hey, Jamie.
I need a deep breath and a sip of water. I need a little bit of both.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just kind of reconnect with my head space into my heart space. I'm just going to take a minute to drop in, and I'm going to put my hands on my heart, and I'm going to take a deep breath in, and I'm going to allow that breath to go all the way up into my head. And then on the release, I'm going to bring it back down into my heart space. So if you want to do it with me, feel free because it feels really good. So take a deep breath in, go as high up as you possibly can, and hold it and release. And just allow yourself to drop back in to a space of peace and calm as we can move forward with our topic.
Grounding. I need some extra grounding today.
Good idea. Today's hot topic is truth. I don't know why I just sang that.
You're releasing the breath. I was going to say the hot topic is hot mess because we were just talking about that, but no, it's not. It's truth. It's our truth, even in our hot mess sometimes.
We have Anthony with us this morning. Good morning from Riverhead. Thank you for joining us. I'm talking in this really weird voice.
Well, what people have to remember is this is our perseverance and our tenacity, Michelle and I, this morning, in that we have tried it on two different platforms. Neither worked for us. I went live. No one was there because it wasn't connecting. And at this moment, just so you know, the superpower of Michelle that you're looking at, she cannot hear me. We tried this in every which way, and we were determined to come and serve today. So I am on FaceTime with her, if you want to say, like through Messenger. She's hearing my voice through her ears, but hears nothing as we're talking together on here. And we said, let's just do it. So talk about a trooper, which is why she's really aligning right now, because there's a multitude of inputs, which is not unlike life that we're living right now, right? We have a plethora of intakes right now going on, which is questioning our truth in many, many ways. So funny, but not funny that poor Michelle is. She is the guinea pig for what we are living in life right now.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so happy you took on that role in sacred contracts. You said, I'll take the hard stuff, Jen. I'm like, okay,
Uh,
here you go.
all right. So enough about our technical difficulties this morning. Stacy is with us and she says, "Morning from Edmonton, Canada. Mini blizzard yesterday." Oh, so a new moon set back to spring here. Well, happy spring to everybody, really. We had 75 degrees in upstate New York yesterday. Actually, I think it was like almost hit 80. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And today it's cold and rainy, so
Same here.
whatever.
Same here in New
But
Jersey.
if you are joining us, then say hello. Let us know where you're from, as we are going to dive right into our hot topic today, which is we're going to talk about truth. Um, Anthony says, think they are
Yeah,
trying to hinder the good messages they are people delivers. Never hinder the message.
no.
The message will always come true, and that is truth.
Mm-hmm.
The message will always come true or come
True.
through. Ooh,
And true.
yeah,
And true.
absolutely. So it's kind of ironic that, I mean, this happens to me a lot with topics as I'm doing my spiritual work every day. I I do one of three things. Sometimes I do a combination. I love to use my oracle cards every single day. I love to meditate and do my journaling. Do I do all three of those every day? No, not really in the form that you might think that I do. But when I was doing some journal work a few months ago, the topic came up for truth. Like I'm listening to what spirit's telling me and I was like, "Oh, I know what truth is." And then I hear that deep voice. There's this deep male voice that's very calming and soothing that I typically hear when the message is something that really needs to be heard. I mean, we hear other, we hear
Mhm.
our own voice, but this voice comes through as a male's voice. And it says, "But do you? Do you know the truth?" So that was my cue to dive deeper into the meaning of truth. And I actually have a whole chapter of the purpose of truth in my book that I'm working on. And I think the deepest message for me with truth is that truth allows me to see the assignment of self-love.
Mm.
And for me, the truth of the matter is that truth is light. And light is the connection to your divine higher power source. And if truth is light, then the opposite would be dark, right? The opposite would be the gray matter, that heaviness that can be felt through our humanness.
Mm.
And the truth is about the willingness to return back to the light, to bring ourselves back to that space of being one, being human and being spirit, all in one.
Absolutely. I think where people are having what I'm seeing with some of the people that I coach or that I'm surrounded by is that there's an immense density of fear right now because we have spent a very long time outside of our bodies. We have spent a very long time relying on the truth of others, whether it be a teacher, a pastor, a political person, a parent. It doesn't matter. We tend to hierarchy people and then trust a truth from the outside in because we have so removed ourselves from trusting our own truth. And that's where people, I believe right now, people that share with me anyway, that I can speak of, are feeling a chaos, are feeling a confusion because, and I want to say, it's okay. Like
Mhm.
lean into that confusion. It won't last because it's I don't want to say warning. It's your flag to start paying attention internally rather than to all the people that you've given sometimes our power away, including me. So I speak of my own truth uh, for a very long time because I was so disconnected from my own truth. And then I'd want to compare. Is it the same? But this person is really, really, they're well known. They're an author, or they're this, or they're that. So does my truth line up? And the answer is going to be no. It
Yeah.
does not have to line up. And that doesn't mean that your truth is not right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Stacy says here, she says, "Is truth not different for everyone dependent on their divine connection? As there is duality differences, even in spiritual community, many prophets, different religions." Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Your truth is not somebody else's truth.
Nope.
There's no doubt about that. And when somebody says, "I know you better than you," there's no way. There's
Oh,
no way anybody knows you better than you.
I just got totally animated from head to toe. My legs are just, oh my gosh, I was going to take a drink and I can't right now. I just am like lit up when you said that. That line is such a beautiful trigger, a
Yeah.
beautiful acknowledgement of, wait a minute, what soul contract did I have with this person that I called them in to say this to me? But we take it as truth. Right? How can
Yeah.
anyone know your truth? It doesn't matter if you have what seems to be a parallel, almost mirrored experience of, husband, wife, spouse, economic, whatever it might be. It might look completely aligned, but they do not exist within your body. No one. And that should be like a little like warning, Will Robinson, warning, warning. When you hear that, and I have heard it in my life, that's a warning of, if that's true, that they know me better than I do, then I need to do something about that.
Which goes back to my statement in the beginning, right? Truth allows me to see the assignment of self-love. What do I have to do to bring myself back to me? Why am I allowing this illusion that somebody else is creating me to be, and it's not me? And that
Right.
doesn't feel good. So
Absolutely.
that's another warning sign too. When it doesn't feel right, don't accept it as your truth. It's not yours to accept somebody else's truth. And here's the same thing, is that it's okay for somebody else to have a different truth than yours. We don't have to we don't have to be a part of that, which goes to like an analogy that I've been using since I started teaching about going down the river in a canoe,
Mm.
right? We each have our own canoes and we're going to travel down that light stream. And we're going to pull up next to other canoes. We're going to say hello. We're going to canoodle. Sorry, that, my friends, is the quirkiness of my
I
spirit
use
angels.
that word all the time. Ashton and I
I
use
never
that word.
use that
Oh,
word.
well, you're probably feeling it because that word has been used a lot in my house recently as a joke.
But the idea is to not get into somebody else's canoe. And the canoe is the truth, is their truth. Your truth and their truth can coexist together side by side. But it's not necessarily going to become a part of your truth.
That's a really, actually, something you just said just now, just spurred me, is really, really important. Your truth is not their truth. I mean, it sounds very basic, but this is really important in our times that we're living right now in creating a new, like we are creating a new, something that has not existed before. And in that new creation, whenever you create something new, there's a messiness, there's a bit of chaos that happens. And I think what happens is, once this can happen sometimes, and it has happened to me, so I'll speak for me. Once I know what my truth is about something, a topic, conversation, I I need to constantly reconnect and align to know that I don't have to convince someone else of my truth. We could have opposing conversation, opposing beliefs, opposing everything, and I'm still okay. I can still hold space for that person. And that's the truth. We keep saying that. When we are truly aligned and grounded, then we can leave space for other people to live their truth and not be the same. Wouldn't it be boring? Really, really boring if we all lived the same truth. But I think people
Absolutely.
they confuse truth with right.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so much yes. And right now, with the way the world is, everybody wants to be right.
Yes. Instead of being true.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You just nailed it.
I could feel like once we finally got, it took me a little time to get to drop back into myself too, because like all the
Yeah,
energy of what was happening earlier was really throwing me off. And I think that's why it's important for people to understand that it took a couple minutes for us to kind of really
yeah.
literally get connected. And that's okay. Um, but yeah, that came through very, very, everyone wants to be, and there's a fear. They want to be right because they fear if they aren't right, it's going to, everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket. Like I this is what I'm hearing around me a lot. And it's not about being right.
No. But when you have the ability to stand in your truth, it gives you strength.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So by having those conversations and listening and still understanding your truth and having that strength, you can listen. You
Hmm.
can listen with an open mind and an open heart, and you can allow yourself to see objectively, to see from a nicer, higher frequency as opposed to being in the canoe with that
Hmm.
person. You can still be understanding and compassionate through your own truth. And it
Oh,
doesn't mean that
absolutely.
you have to take that truth on again,
And,
and I think that's what people are trying to do. I feel like people are trying to slam their truth down other people's throats, being right.
which
And
comes from fear, not from love.
yes, exactly, which comes back to my original statement, truth allows me to see the assignment of self-love.
Absolutely.
You know,
We've watched this happen in the last year and a half with many different historic events that have happened around us, news, people. And I think, and I know Michelle and I, we've talked about this, we've woven in and out of circles and people and coaches and teachers, um, because there is a shadow of fear that I must speak the truth of the masses. Here's the thing though. I must speak the truth of the masses, whether you're watching something on television or social media and you're hearing what the hot topic, whatever that might be. But I'm going to bring it back because that's what's coming through right now. Um, and I don't normally speak of him, but he's coming through. And I'm going to mention Jesus right now as an ascended master, as the very one of the many ascended masters. He worried not. This is not normally my space, but I will of speaking the truth of the masses. He spoke truth, period. His truth. And those who wanted to align with his truth, fine. And you know what? He still held space and loved anyone who did not align with his truth.
yeah,
That's the beauty of this world. If we can be so, as you said, Michelle, so connected with our self-love for ourselves and not, it doesn't mean not question though. Like I self-analyze all the time. I'll listen to someone else's truth and go, ooh, I like that piece. Let me see, and let me digest that. I like that piece. But no, I don't agree with that part. That's not right versus wrong. That's truth.
yeah, and that's learning. That's how we grow. And that's why sharing is so important, because when we can have that conversation with another and we can listen to their truth and we can take the bits and pieces, the breadcrumbs, we can create a greater truth within ourselves. And that's allowing our light to expand, because that's what we're here for. We're here to evolve, we're here to expand into the best person that we could possibly be. And when we
Absolutely.
show up as our best self every single day, the best, whatever that is, when you are standing in your truth as your best self, even in the darkness, if that's your truth and you're showing up with that, you're going to come out of that. That light is going to guide the way. that truth is going to guide the way.
And you're going to be the person, it's not as much about, again, this is so important. The truth and the being right have nothing to do with each other. Though people will argue
Yeah.
that, that will
Yeah.
definitely trigger some people, and they'll be like, "I don't agree with you at all, Jen," and that's okay. That's totally okay, because the truth is, when you can stand in your truth, people watch you. People that you don't think watch you, watch you. People who don't know how to do that are watching to learn how to do that. And when you speak your truth without being ashamed, without fear of it matching someone else's, you're their permission slip. You're going to be the permission slip. You're going to be that light, as Michelle said, that's going to, like, it's going to go farther. You know, it's going to have a stronger beam. That flashlight is going to go further, and other people are going to see farther ahead, like, oh, that's what that looks like. I don't really understand. I'm confused. I'm confused, but it's opening something in me. What? And that's okay. The confusion is really good. You're going to be a permission slip for others to reconnect with their light and their truth.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that brings me to like one of my favorite sayings of yours, lead as you would follow,
Mhm.
and leading with your truth. Not leading with the illusion of somebody else's truth. That's leading with fear.
Mhm.
Lead with your truth. And with that truth will appear kindness through clarity.
Mhm.
And that clarity is the spark of light. And it might be like a needle in a haystack. It might be difficult to find, but it's in there. And so before you speak, before you act, before you react, step
Mm.
back for a second and ask yourself, what is this about? What is this assignment about? And how can I come from a loving place before I move forward?
Absolutely, because I think when we can talk about react over respond. And when we're not clear, like you said, clarity is so key. When we're not clear on our truth, on our sometimes there's a knowing, and that's a whole nother conversation. A knowing is just a direct contact that I have that I cannot explain to someone. I don't need to explain it. It's so solid. It is my body. It is where all come together as one. And then there's
Yeah.
other things that I've created as a belief system. And some of my belief systems change over
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
Right. So it's different than the knowing. Um, I'm
But
going to,
that's growth.
oh,
That's
yeah,
growth. Those
absolutely.
changes are growth.
Absolutely. And there's an energy, and like you said, a light, Michelle. I'm gonna go here. I was like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I'm going to. It's a conversation I was having recently at school. And so those of you who, if you're new, I am a spiritual mindset coach, and I'm also a full-time teacher of 26 years. So a lot of my education as a spiritual coach and teacher, it happens in the school, which you wouldn't think, right? But it's a microcosm of the world. And so right now, what is very, very big and a very, very hot topic, I won't dance around it like the elephant in the middle of the room, is having the vax, right? Is getting that, and it's a huge. I don't know if I should say it, not say it, but a huge, and I don't have fear around it. Huge topic right now. Huge. It is a shameful topic for many. It is a guilt-driven topic for many. Um, there is judgment that comes along with it, and people are afraid to own their truth, whatever that might be. And so recently something happened that when I was having a conversation, I had no idea how powerful this little phrase was. Someone asked, again, where people are asking everyone really what's not their business, but that's okay. I know that if it's being asked of me, there's purpose. And they asked, I don't know if they asked, are you getting it or have you gotten it yet? And I was in my truth. And I simply said, so grounded. Oh, I'm all chilled right now. I just said, no, I'm not getting it. And it's okay. And it was so solid, but I didn't even realize I said, it's okay. And the person who was speaking to me at the time said, "You said it's okay." I said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it is, because it's my truth right now. It may not be my truth in a year or 2 months or 2 weeks from now, but it's my truth right now, and it's okay. And I'm totally solid with my truth." And that person came back and was being shamed, or felt shamed. I shouldn't say that. Was not being shamed, because it's how we receive it, right? Was
Right.
feeling shame for her choice right now not to get it, and was so afraid. And so, without even knowing it, that very simple exchange, now I know why we had it. People like to say it's none of your business. Well, you know what? There's always purpose in conversation. And that
Absolutely.
conversation allowed her to say, "You said it was okay." She was so taken aback. She was so set off in that conversation. And that's what it looks like to be okay with your truth. Be
Yeah.
okay.
The strength that
It's a
that truth
strength.
gives you, that embodiment, that sinking into it, standing on that solid ground
Yeah.
and being okay.
And being clear. You said a
Yeah.
very, very important word, the
Yeah.
clear,
The
because you're
clarity.
clear. It's
Mhm.
like, we're like, you need like a roto rooter sometimes. we need
Mhm.
we need to clear out. So we're super, super clear.
I remember when I was younger, I was a really good chameleon.
Mm,
I could fit into so many different groups of people, because I had a need to feel like I fit in.
mhm,
Um, and then I would leave that group or that conversation and be like, "Why did I agree to that? Why did I say that? That's not
mhm.
me. I don't believe that. Why am I not being me?" And that's because of out of fear of not being accepted, fear of rejection, feel of not being valued. And I don't live that way anymore. I am who I am, and take it or leave it, but that's my truth. And when you are living as your true being, when your humanness and your spiritness are intertwined with one another, it feels good.
It
It
feels free.
feels good. Oh my gosh,
The
so
freedom,
free.
right?
So free. Even in the trying moments,
Mhm.
even in the difficulty, even in the chaos, when you are standing in that truth, you feel good.
You feel
You,
peace.
you do. You know you can get through this. You know it's going to be okay.
Right. And people are looking right now, our society as a whole. I was reading a couple of the messages, that people
Yeah, go
are having
ahead.
a hard time. Well, I was looking at, it doesn't seem like people can exist right now, and allow other truths to exist. You know what? I agree, with an addendum, with a I agree that's what it appears to be, but it's like things are being shaken loose. They've been so solidly, um, done blindly for a very long time, and we've been so disconnected from our truth. You said something earlier, Michelle. You said, listening, and I saw something I say to my students all the time. I said, "You need to listen. You need to listen to me right now." And I've done that for years. And it's because, well, my master's is in deaf education. So my deaf students never listened with their ears anyway, right? They listened with their eyes. But I mean, listen with your head and your heart, right? I would always say, "Look at me. You need to listen to me." And they're like, "We are hearing you." I'm like, there's a big difference between hearing and listening. And right now, the world is beautifully, although it doesn't always seem that way, being adjusted, shook up. And so it does appear that way right now. But that's why, being light workers, it is imperative that we don't believe that truth, that
Yeah.
people are bad and people are selfish and look what is happening to the world. People are scared,
Yeah.
and they are, for the first time, some of them, looking at having to trust their own truth. And that's scary.
It's very scary, especially when you have to step back and take a look at yourself.
Hmm.
You know, not everybody wants to do that,
Hmm.
because there's a lot there to be seen. And Anthony says that the media provides a false narrative, which is true, but it's people's opinions, so it's about that conversation. So it's about listening to what's being said, read between the lines,
Mhm.
take what you need, because honestly, you can find anything out there that's going to fit your narrative.
Oh,
That's gonna it's gonna back it up, and you're gonna be like, "Yep, yep, that's right, that's the truth,"
and we
because it's
draw that
there.
in, don't
We
we?
do,
Like,
we do.
when you're in that vibration where, like, you're in a really maybe a pissy mood and upset, right? How easily can we pull in someone who tell us the same thing and like, "I can't believe they did that." And you're like, "See, I knew I was right."
Yeah,
Right? So we pull people in to agree with our narrative. We're pretty amazingly strong and powerful beings that can do that.
absolutely, and I think the important thing too is that when you are hearing something that may not, um, run parallel with your narrative, to question yourself and to say, "Huh, is that true?"
Oh, yeah.
Is that my truth?"
Right. Oh,
Or
I like that
that
part. Is that my truth? Not is it true, but is that my truth too? Let me see.
yeah,
Can I connect? Do I feel some kind of resonance with that? Is that my truth too? I
yeah.
like that.
Is that my truth? And that's how you can engage in a conversation without getting all riled up, without getting defensive. Why do we have to put out our fighting gloves? Why are we all so quick and ready to just be like, no, you're wrong? Um, I don't know what voice that was.
No, I felt a little rocky in there. There's a little rocky going on in there.
For sure. Um, but let's ask ourselves when somebody is speaking, is that my truth? And if it's not, you don't have to own it,
Mhm.
but allow that other person to accept it as theirs if that's what they choose to do.
That is connecting with someone else's light.
Yeah,
That is,
absolutely.
and I've done that many times recently, light to light connection, not in my head connection.
Yeah.
We tend to, it's hard, not, but it's not undoable. And the hard is worthy of the effort. Let's put it that way. But it does, here's the good news, it does get better and it gets
Mhm.
easier
Oh,
because the
yeah.
more that you practice it. So I don't want to be like, well, I don't want to do that. That's really hard. No, it's like exercise, right? When you're constantly doing it all day long in conversations, I get excited when I see something not going well sometimes, not necessarily today, but it's like, oh, what has it got for me? It's another practice. It's another practice in, sometimes I just love being an observer of people. I don't need to be part of the conversation. I used to feel invisible in the past, and now I'm excited that I'm invisible, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about
Uh-huh.
that.
Oh,
I
yes.
used to think that was because I was unworthy and no one saw me. And now there could be a multitude of conversations, and I am like, whoosh, I just bring myself out and I listen and I watch. And I bet you, anyone who's listening, you can point out people who are grounded in their truth versus want to be right,
Yeah.
because you feel accepted and embraced by someone who's speaking their truth rather than trying to be right. You don't feel belittled or devalued. You can have a really good open conversation and walk away and go, wow, that was an interesting conversation. And it gets confusing sometimes because you're like, I don't think I was right. Was I right? Were they right? You don't have to be, right?
Right, and you're like, "That was nice. That was
That
a
was
nice
nice.
energy exchange,"
Yeah.
you know? Chrissy says, "It's so important to also wait and seek more information as well and be okay with making a different choice." Absolutely, Chrissy, and nice to see you here, by the way. I miss seeing your face.
Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to listen, again, because you might hear something that allows you to see in a different way.
And I
Again,
think we
that's
need to
growth.
release the fear of being a hypocrite or being judged, because even having the conversation before, my answer right now is no until or if it ever chooses to be yes. I don't need to worry about someone else's opinion. Well, you said you weren't going to. Oh, are
Yeah,
you a hypocrite? No,
yeah.
I
I
possibly
changed my
changed
mind.
my mind. I possibly received, like Chrissy saying, more information. I possibly received a different download at where I am in my life.
Yeah,
So don't ever be afraid that your truth changes, because that's evolution. Like you said, Michelle, earlier, that's evolution.
Absolutely. Truth changes, but facts don't.
Right, right. Bridget says, "I just learned recently that my truths are only mine. It may not be for others, and that's just because it's my truth. I cannot make it anyone else's truth. I have to learn that balance." Beautiful.
Yeah. And it is a balance. It truly is a balance, but, like you said earlier, the more we practice this, the
Mhm,
easier it gets, and then it just becomes just the way you communicate.
mhm,
It's like, brushing your teeth. You do it without thinking about it. And standing in your truth and having the conversations and leading your life with that truth will take you down different avenues, and it will allow you to open up to new people. It will bring
mm,
more things your way. It'll bring a new kind of abundance your way, and
absolutely.
a new lifestyle, which is beautiful. Um, let's see. I've said recently and really mean this, I would love to take others' fears so they can be healed. What we can do is lead with our truth and lead by example. And when we are doing that, we are showing people. And then it's their choice if they want to follow leading with their truth or following their fears. So it's not up to us to
Mm.
heal. We can show you how, we can show you the tools, we can guide you, but we can't do the healing ourselves.
And I think I love that statement that you just shared, whoever you were just reading, I couldn't see it on my I should put my glasses down. Um, that's such a powerful statement because I'm sure probably everyone who's joining in is a huge empath, right? And we want to heal the world and we want to take away pain. And there's a big difference though between pain and suffering. Pain has purpose. Pain can be beautiful. Pain is enlightening. I'm not saying go out and find yourself some pain, but I think we tend to shy away from it instead of lean into it and see what it has for us. Because if we think back, I know for me personally, on many of the things that have changed me and helped me evolve and emerge and expand as a new woman, um, they all were reconnected to pain in some way. They really were. Like then the pain subsides and there's an enlightenment and there's this beauty and this levity. So it's not one or the other, it just flows, right? And suffering is something we choose to either repeat the story over and over in our head or to cause ourselves pain. But there's a beauty. Strange. It's a strange piece, but there is a beauty, and that's going to be a piece of their own healing. A piece of
Absolutely.
their pain is going to be a piece. And it's almost like when you've had to work really hard at a math test, or I was not good at math. I'm a writing teacher. Um, when, I finally did well and I pulled that C plus, which for me was an A. I had such pride in that C plus because I knew that C plus was my A. And that's what happens with us when we sometimes have that fear. And when we work through it, it's like, yes, I did it. I released it. And you feel so much better about yourself.
Yeah. And what comes out of the other side of that fear? This is something that once I really started doing my spiritual practice and doing the work and showing up as my best self every day and working through those fears. And sometimes I actually step over the fear. It's like, you know what? Mm,
Not
I
right
just,
now.
I don't, well, no, it's not even that. I'm not like bypassing. It's just like, I'm over it. Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying. So
like,
just, yeah,
I'm just going to go over this
yeah,
because I don't need to dive deep.
yeah.
I know where this is from. And I know when I reach that other side, when I lean into it and I get through that, there is something so beautiful
Mhm.
waiting for me on the other side. And it comes back to strength. It allows me to see how strong I am as a person. And it allows me to come back to that authentic place of truth and self love. And that's what standing in your truth does. It
Absolutely.
helps you get through those illusions. It helps you get through that fear. It helps you see with the clarity.
Yes.
Let's see here. Stacy says, "Thank you so much. I am learning to trust my truth and fall back to standing in it without the attachments." Yes. Oh, definitely. There are things we need to reconnect with, and then there is energy that we need to disconnect with
Mhm.
so that we can reconnect. Um, Kind of sounds counterintuitive, but
No, it's
for sure.
release to receive. The
Yeah.
disconnect, that was very powerful. To disconnect the attachment of the outcome of a conversation is powerful. To be able
Yes.
to have a conversation with someone with different truths than you and not feel like you need to follow what the social media has told us, what the news has told us, anything. When you can step into a conversation as you, wholly and truly as you, without the attachment of I need to sound like this, someone's going to judge me if I don't sound like the masses, again going back to that, right? That's the challenge right now. I don't even want to say hard. It's the challenge to get so connected with your truth that you can sound different.
And think about that. If you're going into a conversation with somebody and you're grounded in your truth, your energy is approaching that situation in that way.
Mhm.
And that energy is being received by the other person in the conversation. And so it's up to them whether or not they want to receive that information. And it might allow them to converse on a different frequency
Mhm.
and to stand in their truth without the disagreement, so to
Yeah.
speak. I don't know why we keep
Yeah.
going back to that, but I think it's just because it's such a big
No,
issue
because it's
right
where it is
now.
right now. I think that we are
Yeah.
being drawn to that. There's nothing wrong because that's the talk about it's hot topic for 2021. It's where we are right now. It's, we have to keep it, I believe, or what we're feeling, we're both receiving is speaking to where people are right now. And this is what we're experiencing. This is what we're living. And it's going to bring up vulnerability. It's going to bring up fears of our own, like, do I and there's also discernment. You might find that you don't want to have certain conversations. You don't always have to be the walking beacon for change. Don't feel that that has to be the case. I'm with people that I'm like, I'll discern. I'm like, do I need to speak right now?
Yeah, do I need to interject?
No, no, no. Like,
Yeah.
so I ask myself that. I'll have those internal dialogues. I don't always feel that I have to speak my truth. I can just sit in my truth. And that's enough to
Yeah.
spread this circle around that you are solid in that and not necessarily be part of the conversation. It's okay. And other times I take the little leap of faith in vulnerability that this may not be taken well because I can only handle so much, or that's not the right word. I can only control so much of me. That's it. That's the only part. I can't not control, like I think Chrissy said, the attachment of how someone else is going to receive me. It doesn't matter how compassionate I might speak from. It doesn't matter how much heart center. If they're at a place where they cannot receive my vibration and we're on two different radio stations, it doesn't mean I need to leave and go, I know I shouldn't have said that. I just have to know they couldn't receive me.
Yeah, they couldn't receive you, but also it's important to know, in those conversations to not feel that need to project
Right.
your truth
Right.
back onto them.
Nope.
And there's a difference between talking about it and projecting it,
Oh my God.
you
Yes.
know? So finding your truth doesn't mean you have to make everybody else believe your truth as their truth.
And that's
So
what
it
Bridget was saying. She was saying finding that
yeah,
balance, which is agreement.
yes.
You know, and I think the last piece on that part, when you just said what was coming to me, Michelle, was not only not to project, but don't walk away. I mean, I don't like to give advice, but here's the thing. You don't have to feel the need to walk away thinking that your truth was less because they didn't hear you. That's what that really is, standing in that
Yes.
truth. But you know what I mean? So that's where I was saying, like, sometimes I know I'm being vulnerable. Sometimes I know I'm taking that piece of courage and speaking it, not even to change them, but just to own it. And if I wasn't where I am right now, which many of you are working at, I would have, and I have in the past, walked away like, oh my God, now what do they think of me? And questioned a million things of my own truth. But we don't have to. That's that
No.
balance.
And that's that strength
Mhm.
again. The
Mhm.
strength that you can receive from that and walk away going, yeah, this is my truth and I feel good about it and it's okay.
Such a
I
powerful
love
topic.
that.
Yeah,
It's
such a powerful
okay.
topic. And to be true, not good. True, not right.
True.
Mhm.
Yeah.
True.
Let's see. Maria or Maureen. Hi, Maureen. Um, we're giving others a permission slip by living our truth.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are because people are watching you. Whether you think anybody's watching you or not, whether you think you're a leader or not, you are a leader. There is always somebody looking up to you in one way, shape, or form and watching you for direction, for understanding, for words of wisdom. Um, I mean, think about that.
You know
No
who the
matter
person
where you
is
are.
that's always listening and always watching?
Mm.
Our inner self,
Oh, yeah.
right? Our inner child, our inner self. Like, will you go there yet? Are you strong enough yet? You know, and that's that self-love too, aside from always like our children, if we have children, our clients, our workmates, our friends, obviously all of those things, right? But what it comes down to, even if you want to say no, no one, right? I hear someone right now arguing, no, nobody does, nobody does, no one's watching me. You're watching you.
Yeah.
You're watching you. And that's that. When we feel anxiety and misalignment sometimes, it's having a truth that you are not acting upon on the outside. There's a disconnect from your true truth and how you are coming out. And I know, and I can speak to that, that I've not lived my authentic truth, and I'm still learning it and I'm still tweaking it, but I am so much more solid than I ever was. And that came from bumps and bruises and bad choices, sometimes bad, I air quote, bad choices. Um, but when we speak and watch ourselves all the time, all the time, we're waiting. Will you choose it now? Will you choose truth now, Jen? Will you choose it? So you are always watched.
Yeah. Truth is about that feeling, a feeling. Truth is a feeling. I don't know
Yeah.
where that came from.
No, but it
But
is. It is because that's that part of feeling that comfort and
yeah.
peace and joy, right? Of not having to be
Yeah.
right and a freedom of not having to be right but true. It is a feeling, I agree.
Yeah. It's authentic. Truth is authenticity for sure. Okay, let's see what else. Bridget, there's no right or wrong with truth. It's where everyone is at the journey. It either becomes their truth or not. Everyone's journey is not the truth, and the different truths help them with their evolving. Absolutely. Totally what we've been saying and summing that up perfectly for us. Stacy says many do not want to hear right now. Maybe if they yell loud enough, we will bend to them. We need to hold on to our truth for that strength to hold our energy. Yeah, for sure. And yelling typically when that voice is raised, when that anger comes out, that is somebody's need to be heard.
Hmm.
And if we can stand in the strength of our truth and listen to what it is they're actually trying to say and disconnect through the energy in which they're saying it, we can again create that balance and know that that person's really not projecting onto us. They're just releasing because that. They need that. They need to be heard. But we take that on personally.
Hmm.
Oh, I used to, I should say.
No, I did
Um,
too.
and I still do sometimes, a little bit. Still working on that one.
But we can
Um,
catch it. That's what you were
yeah,
saying about it getting faster. Like, absolutely, I find myself getting reactionary, when someone, like, sometimes I'm like, oh my god, why are they yelling at me, why, and then I'm like, oh, but it takes, now you can recognize it, where
yeah,
before I just would react, whether sometimes in tears, whether sometimes in withdrawal. Fine, I'm not going to even talk anymore. Fine. Like, I was very yeah, that was, sometimes I would just shut down that way, but you'll be able to see it. People will be able, well, you'll catch yourself. That's the beauty of it.
yeah. So I want to just kind of read this thing real quick from my book. It's things that were highlighted in my journal of what truth is, because truth is so many different things. The first one that came to me with was that truth is not a lesson.
Mm,
Right? We
mhm,
look at so many, we look at our situations on what's the lesson in that. It will lead us to our truth, but truth is never a lesson.
mm,
Never. Truth is not a thought, but a state of being.
mm. That's
Where
good,
are
yeah.
you?
State of being.
That's the
Being.
dropping into
Mhm,
your truth. That's standing in your truth. That's a state of being. The conversations and the self-reflection, that's part of the process to get through those layers,
mhm.
to really understand with clarity what that truth is, but it's a state of being. Truth is
Love
the
that.
reflection of your divine self, the divine truth of authenticity. Oh, this one I love. Truth is genuine and true.
Mhm.
Like when you are genuinely being you, ugh, that
There's nothing
feeling.
better. There's nothing better
No, it's
because what happens is you and this is how this has come to be. This is how the connection has come to be. When you release the fear of being seen as you, you will call in a gorgeous tribe of people who will not always agree with everything you say. That's not the point. But
right,
you have a place where you can be quirky and silly and like sometimes dance and be a part of you that you've longed to be. Longed. I could visualize parts of myself that I never would allow on the outside that I am now. And that's even my fashion. Literally, my fashion has changed. People,
same.
yeah, that people speak of that when I go to school. I don't dress a certain way because I'm here. I have a flow. My clothes
Hmm.
represent me, and
Hmm.
people will joke about them sometimes. Yeah, right. My husband calls me Mrs. Roper from Three's Company, sometimes, or I'll call it my smock. He's like, "How's the art class going?" I'm like, "Stop it! I know art people. They don't wear this." But none of which, my point, as silly as it is, none of which bothers me.
Yeah.
'Cause it's so me. It is so me, and I have held that part back for so long. And then you'll connect with people like, "Oh my god, I love that. Where did you get that?"
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's where
So,
truth comes
we're
in.
almost giving them a permission slip to go ahead
Yes.
and dress the
Well, I
flow, wear the hat, you
I
know?
actually had someone say that to me. They're like, "I have so many of those," and it was a kimono, right? But she didn't have the word for it. She goes, "I stopped wearing them because my husband was making fun of me." I'm like, "Go dig it
Oh,
out. Go dig."
so
She said, "You're making me think I wanna go get that." I'm like, "Go get it back out." She still had them. She was just hiding them away. That's a truth, right? Your fashion is a truth.
Absolutely. It's who you are.
Who you are.
It's who you are. Alright, so we are, approaching the hour
I
mark.
have no idea what time it is anymore. I was like, "I don't know. I have no idea what time it is
I
compared to
don't
when we
even know how
started."
we ended up showing up live today, but,
We made it work.
we do still have a few people with us, so I'm gonna go ahead and show the cards
Oh,
that we
yes.
pulled for today. And Stacy says, "Beautiful discussion today, ladies. Some meditation and ceremony today for the new moon and my journey, holding space and energy for my truth to come into me and shine from me." Oh, for me. I love
Like
that.
a mic drop right there.
I am divine, shining in all ways. I can in and for this moment. Sending love and peace. Stacy, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And hi, Judy. I'm so happy you joined us. Um, and thank you for listening today. So before
Absolutely.
we go, we're gonna pull the two cards. Each one of us pulls a card from one of our decks in regards to the topic, and then we're going to announce the winner of the giveaway. So if you're still with us, I'm gonna be giving away one of my brand new decks.
You are not. Oh my God.
I am. I'm still waiting for the boxes. There was a little bit of problem with production. So as soon as the boxes come in, the cards will be going out. So pick a number between 1 and 60. And I have a number in my head, and whoever is closest to that number, I will announce the winner after we do our cards.
Oh my God, you're
So
so lucky, whoever is getting this. I haven't even gotten to see them yet.
so I don't know. That was a weird laugh.
It was your true laugh.
Oh, my ridiculousness. Okay, here is Jen's card. It
I love
is
how you just
card
slide that over.
number 1.
It is the first one. Yeah, because we didn't know if we were going to get on here. So we went and found our own cards too. I love that you can pull it up there. This one seems so simple. Your imagination is your truth. And it is such a paradox of everything that we have been taught to believe. Release, grow up, get serious, stop dreaming, get your head out of the clouds. You gotta, how are you going to live your life? How are you going to make an income? How are you going to, and those types of things have removed us so far from our intuition, from our animation, from our truth, from spirit within us. And so when you are meditating, or when you are wondering if you're receiving a message, and you're thinking, I hear this all the time. I don't know if Michelle, if you hear this, is this true, or is it like, am I imagining it? I said, you just said the same thing.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to know we've been so removed. This is a time in our lives, in the world's history, that we need to reconnect with our truth, which seems to be the non-essential. Imagination doesn't really exist, and it's not. It is the truth of all truths. It is our groundedness. And this unicorn I chose me because we tend to look at it as this fictitious, it's fairy tales, it's not real, and it's all real. It's all real. And she is grounded in this beautiful earth, this very heart chakra, green, bluish green center there. So it's got a little piece of earth. You've got water in there. You've got our light. Imagination is your truth. When you want to question yourself this week, if something's true or if you're making it up, go to your heart. Go to your heart. Don't go to your head. Go to your heart.
Yeah. I just want to add a little bit to that too, because it's such a beautiful statement that our intuition speaks to us through our imagination.
Exactly. You said it
So
beautifully.
how do you think we see the colors and the symbols and the signs and the guidance? It's our imagination that's allowing us to see it. So don't discount the imagination, because you're discounting your intuition when you do that.
And don't worry about the people that will tell you, oh, you're just
You're just
trying to see things.
imagining.
Yeah, or you're just trying to see things.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I had somebody write a review for one of my books on Amazon that said, "You just see angels because you have to."
That's an odd statement.
I was like, "Yes, yes, I do. I have to see my angels. I
That's a
do. I
weird
have to."
statement.
It's like, "Okay, I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. That's fine. I'll live in my angelic world because it's a really happy place." Oh, so
So
thank you for
odd.
sharing that card with us. And don't forget, pick a number between 1 to 60. If you're still here, I will be giving away one of my new Lightstream card decks. And this is number 45. And it says that
Love this.
truth releases fear. When you are standing in fear, that veil of illusion is lifted. And we create that for ourselves. We create that barrier through life experiences, through things that are being thrown our way. So the resistance of your truth is halting that process for your growth. So that
Yeah.
illusion is what's blocking you, the fear. So standing in your truth, allow that resistance to just dissipate so that what needs to come to you will be able to make its way. That's what truth will do for you. It'll allow that beautiful light stream to continue flowing freely, and good things are just going to keep coming your way as you become that magnet, that light that attracts. You know how, like, this is a really bad analogy, but that's what they're telling you. You know, when the lights are on at night and the bugs are attracted
Ah,
to the light,
it's a really good analogy.
right?
That's a
But
really good analogy.
that's what standing in your truth is doing. It's allowing that good stuff to be attracted to your light and to come
Mhm.
that way.
And did you see, I'm just realizing that and what I'm feeling immediately, this white horse.
Oh my gosh, I did not see
I
that
didn't until that's why, did
before.
you see me? I was going in like
I
this
did.
because what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing, feeling is when you connect with your truth, I can see these beautiful, beautiful white horses just flying down a beach, just in full abandon of just freedom, complete freedom of being totally one with yourself. Totally. And I'm looking and I'm saying, that's the same energy. And there's even a light source on your horse that,
Yes.
I mean, that's on, I can't do this backwards, on the top of on the horn. I can't, it's backwards. I'm like trying to do that. I'm like, it just doesn't work. But that's why you're speaking. And I'm like, oh, that is the same beautiful energy. And she has a sword in that picture too, doesn't she?
She is holding something in her
A sword.
hand.
Yeah.
There's a lot,
I believe
because
that's the sword. That's the shaft on the top. Yep. She's got
I
hers.
fuse a lot of pictures into one picture
Well, there's a lot of
because
energy.
it's multidimensional, you know?
Right.
But, when you were talking about the horse, this is from my other deck. Oops,
Well, I
let
know,
me
it's
see
like,
here.
dude, look at that.
Fly high, fly free, and love deeply. Just charge
Mhm.
ahead. Charge
Charge.
ahead in that truth, you know?
Wow.
What a great way to end today.
Mhm. Go be free. Go charge. Go be that white horse.
Yeah,
You are your, white knight. You are your knight in shining armor. You are
you
that
are.
it's truth that is.
You're the only one that's gonna come to your rescue fully,
Fully. Because
fully.
we're the only ones that we need.
Exactly.
Well,
But I need
because
you.
well,
I
because we're
need
connected
you,
to
though.
I need you too, but we're connected to source, but that's why it's not just us alone, let's make sure about that. It's
Yeah,
us
right.
connected to source. Yeah, it's like, no, and people believe that. They're like, "Oh, you're very self-centered." No, 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 I'm God-centered. I'm source-centered. I'm
Yeah.
light-centered. I'm Holy Spirit-centered. I'm angel-centered. Yeah, it's not me by myself. It's not an empty vessel in there. So, but yes, I need you too. We need the connection.
Absolutely. We totally need the connection. So on that note, make sure you join us next month on the first Sunday. I don't even know the date,
No, we
but
don't know
it'll
yet.
be the first Sunday of the month at 11:11. Hopefully, if all goes well.
We made it work.
And
We made it
we
work.
did. So thank you all for joining us,
Have a
and
wonderful Sunday.
keep following us, Michelle Irene on Facebook, the Miracle Minded Woman. If you're not a part of that group, the link is actually on my page. So
Come join
join. You
and
need
go
more
follow
of.
your truth.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you guys so much and have a beautiful month
Beautiful Sunday.
ahead.
Mhm.